Hey Andy.
Hey, what's going on? How are you?
All right, how you been?
Good, Sean. Just dealing with this cold weather, It's been freezing here.
Not so much down here.
I'll bet. You're in the Tampa,
Tampa.
Tampa area. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what's the temp down there?
I think it's currently like 70,
Oh
60,
God.
68, sorry.
Uh, yeah, we're like single digits, so
Ooh,
we're getting there. So yeah, not
it's,
fun.
nope, I couldn't live with that.
Yeah, yeah. It's good because I mean, at times it's nice to see the seasonal change and stuff,
Mhm.
but not when it gets down to temps this cold.
No, I had a friend that was a welder, and he worked somewhere up near the Great Lakes, and they had to like keep their engines heated because they would freeze up for the oil.
Yeah, yeah,
I was like, that's not meant for humans to live in.
yeah, I know, right. It's crazy. Too cold for me.
No.
I'm
Yes.
like you. I'd rather be south.
Yep. So how
I
did you end up there?
do it.
How did you end up there?
I've lived here my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah,
Same, same here.
family. So kept me grounded. My parents live in town here. My brother lives in town here. Um, my kids, so it's just, it's just
Yeah.
best place to be for now.
No,
Who
I get you.
who knows when I get a little bit older, I might venture down that way.
Do the retirement thing like a lot of people do. Yeah.
Good gosh, yeah. I bet you guys get a lot of people from like New York and
Oh yeah, that's the running joke is, you always hear New Yorkers down here saying how great everything is in New York. I'm like, what are you doing here? Go back home then.
exactly, yeah. We get some
Yeah.
of that here too.
Yeah.
Like y'all can't drive, and I hear that crap all the time.
Yeah. No, when I worked at Citicorp, my direct supervisor was from New York, so we had little jokes about that.
Yeah,
He would say, make fun of us for saying y'all,
yeah.
and then like, it's like, and then he finally started saying it like, ha, every time I caught him.
You see y'all. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
The best one was when Krispy Kreme, because we would, take turns in the group bringing in like donuts or stuff, and I'd bring in Krispy Kreme, and he's like, "That's not a real donut. It's not cake." Blah blah blah. And then they opened up that year. I think that was like in right around 2000. They opened up the first one in New York, and people were waiting 5 hours in line to
Yeah,
get Krispy Kreme, and I
yeah,
was like rubbing that in his face. I'm like, "Oh yeah, these New Yorkers don't like these. They're waiting 5 hours to get them."
exactly. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it was fun, little
Yeah,
razzing back and forth.
yeah. You got
Hey,
to.
Mike. I see Mike's joined us.
He might be on a call.
Yeah.
No, I've been on calls all morning, man. This is a welcome break.
Yeah, good.
Yeah.
I'm just
Well,
letting you guys know over the next, like, well, it'll just be through tomorrow, but if I'm not around as much, it's because my girlfriend's dealing with the death of a family member, so I'm just, I'm kind of on standby and doing things for her um, today and tomorrow, so just an FYI. I'm not as active in the group.
Yeah.
well, it looks like we have a big to-do list to do anyway, so
Got it.
why don't we go out and do some doing while you take care of what you got to take care
Yeah.
of.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Get it done.
that's it. Actually, I carried that agenda home. I carried it home last night and
Yeah.
brought it back to work today.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Yeah, I see Kate has that really nicely. She's putting that in real nice into that new CRM.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's a great idea, great
Yeah.
place to be connected to everyone, and just like I said, just have a central place.
Right, right. Yeah.
Load it up here on my coffee, get my brain working. Woo.
That's why I just went to Starbucks. I just did the same thing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It
I'm like,
did.
oh man, I need some immediate energy.
Oh yeah, no doubt. Heard that. Liquid speed.
Yeah. I know it's funny when we drove down to Florida. My wife, she's a big water drinker, and she
Yeah.
kept on drinking water. And I'm like, honey, you gotta drink less water when you're driving.
Yeah.
It was like every hour and a half she wanted to pull over. I'm like, stop drinking water, let's drink 3 hours at a time.
Yeah.
That's right. That's hilarious.
Yeah, but she hooked me up on the way back because we left 6 o'clock Saturday morning. She said, why don't you get a shot of espresso with your coffee? Oh, my Lord. Do it like whatever coffee you like, but tell them to add a shot of espresso in there, too. Oh, man, that was adrenaline overdrive right there.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
You need it at times.
Oh, yeah.
You know how that is.
Yeah.
I just can't. I don't think as clearly without coffee. Maybe that's just an excuse, but maybe if I got off of it,
Yeah.
I'd get used to it. But man, I'm just in a cloud until I get some caffeine in me.
Yeah, I don't have a lot of vices anymore, but that's one that I'm not getting rid of. I'll drink my coffee,
Right.
I quit a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Bad behavior is one of them. Yeah, but
Whatever, Mike.
yeah.
Who else is on here? I see a dark shadow. Hey, Rebecca.
Hi.
Hello, Rebecca.
Hi.
Well, I guess we can't complain about cold weather now that you're on the. Exactly. Oh my Lord.
Cold.
How much snow is that?
That's not a lot of snow.
No.
It's actually just really, really cold.
Yeah, it's 24. It's 24 degrees here, and that's cold for us.
And that's Fahrenheit, so we're like at minus 30 something Celsius today with the wind.
Holy cow!
Whoa.
Holy cow!
They
Wow.
they warn people about getting frostbite.
Yeah, I would imagine. Is that moonshine? Are you drinking moonshine? That was like moonshine there.
That's awesome. We're talking coffee. And, oh, wow, man, 17 degrees here. I just had to look.
Whoa.
What? 17?
Yeah, 17 in Nashville.
Holy cow!
Yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy. What was it? I stepped in the car on, let's see, it was one day last week, and it was 60 degrees outside. So to go from 60 to 17, it's a little ridiculous.
So
Yeah,
here it's minus 30 Fahrenheit. I just checked it.
You're what?
Minus 30, 31 Fahrenheit here.
Oh, my God.
Whoa.
Wow.
And what are you?
You're near Ottawa, right?
I am in Ottawa, yeah.
You are in Ottawa, yeah. Wow. That's cold.
That is.
That's cold. Wow.
Sean,
Like I said, we're not going to complain about cold then.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's all relative, though.
that's true. That's true.
tell Rebecca how warm you are, Sean.
Oh yeah, we're at a freezing 68 degrees Fahrenheit.
And
yeah.
that's how warm my house is.
Yeah.
Wow.
You're in Florida. That's right. You're in Florida. Yeah.
That's crazy.
But you're in a hot place, right?
Oh yes, Tampa, Florida.
And Michael, where are you?
Well, I was right outside of Tampa about 5 days ago, but today
Can't
I'm.
say that anymore.
Yeah, it's not like that anymore. Today I'm in Virginia, right outside of Washington D.C.
Oh, so it's cold there.
Yeah.
And
Great.
New York, too. Andrea's in New York. I know it's got to be cold there.
Yeah. Yeah, she's up in the Long Island, I think.
Ooh. Yes, crazy. Well, it looks like we got a pretty good number on here to go ahead and get started. I know that Catherine has posted a message. She's going to be in here in just a few minutes. She's on a call. It's running a little bit over. So part of our call is going to be centered around some of the stuff that she's going to be showing us. We're really going to be talking a little bit about the contact management system that we have in place so that everybody feels comfortable and everybody gets in there and actually starts being a part of that one central location so that we can upload files, photos, articles, whatever it needs to be. That's going to be our go-to place to grab that information. So anyway, hope everybody's having a good week. Sorry it's cold. At least we got the indoors to keep us warm. So just real quick, let's go through some of the items on our list and talk about some of the stuff that's just related to the site. I will let you guys know that we are getting together too on Mondays with a couple of the SEO guys. Some of the ones that are just having a very active participation in the technical side of the website. And so what we're going to be doing is obviously having discussion about how the site's going to be set up from an SEO perspective and building out a proper silo so that our site gets seen and gains some momentum in the search engines and stuff. So real quick, let me pull up my list. Popped off the screen. Let me pull that back up so I can see my agenda. Okay, here we go. Okay, so anyway, I just want to real quick, glad that I got Sean on here too, so we can talk a little bit about the structure of the site. I wouldn't mind having Sean maybe kind of discuss a little bit about how that's going to look. I know that it's going to be dependent upon the articles that are written and the city selections, but we're going to have that this week. I know that some of you guys have been really active in getting articles together, and that's very appreciated. We just kind of need to take inventory, and I don't know, just because of the holidays and then just what's happened with Melanie, but I don't know where we are in terms of getting those articles translated for this group. So we do just need to take inventory there and find out where we are in that process. If you guys have knowledge of that. I know that Andrea was writing some articles, and Rebecca, I believe.
Yes, the article, can you hear me?
Yes.
So the articles that I wrote, I said I'd do 3, I did 3. 2 of them are a decent length, make over 800 to, somewhere between 800 and something and 900 and something. I got those translated, and then the third one that I did was more of, I think it's types of water heaters, but I lead it to an infographic. Now the infographic happened to be in English, and I was originally going to try to see if I can get it reworked in Spanish, but I think it's going to be a little bit more work than I anticipated. But the article, I did highlight it, so it links to the infographic, and then I just wrote something like summary of highlights of the infographic, and I listed 4 of the highlights on it. But I told Catherine I was going to upload it to the platform last night, and I just haven't gotten a chance to do it.
Okay.
Perfect.
No worries. Thank you for doing that. And,
right. And the way I did it, I think one was on tankless water heaters and one was on storage water heaters, and I kind of just linked it back to each other. So, and I don't know, the SEO guys, and when they upload it, they could do it differently. So when I used the word like storage water heater in the tankless water heater article, I linked it. I bolded it so you can link it back. That's how I did it. I don't know.
Awesome.
I've started and have not completed.
Okay.
Well, I didn't hear that. What'd you say, Rebecca?
I started doing that article on. That was you that gave it to me, hey Andy? Electric water heaters or just water heaters?
Okay.
Or water heater repair or something?
Yes.
And so it's not complete. I just started it and haven't gotten back to it. And I asked 2 people. Like, it just depends on how much are we writing. But I have 2 Cubans two Cuban friends who are in the Florida area, and both of them are open to translating. I don't know, but I can't say, okay, here's 20 pages of stuff I'm going to translate. Like,
Sure.
I don't know how much I can ask them to do, but
Okay.
they both said yes when I put it out. And asked them if they could translate some stuff for me.
Cool. Yeah.
I did have a question about the translation. So the one article I wrote, well, I gave it to my buddy, who's female, who doesn't know, I guess, a lot of the technical aspects of the plumbing, which neither do I, and the water heaters. So she read it and translated as she would write it in Spanish. So of course it's not literally the same.
Yeah.
The second one I gave it to was someone not as I'm not. It's really like an outsourcer that I use, and I just told him to use Latin American Spanish, and I told him he could change it up because I know it doesn't work literally. When she read it, because I had him write it and then I had my friend reread it to see how it sounded, and she said that he more or less did it literally, which sometimes just doesn't make sense.
No.
And even when she did it, that's what she said. She said it's hard because you have to kind of rewrite. They have to kind of rewrite what I'm writing. Do you understand? So I guess my question is, how particular are we?
I think you can't write literal in any kind of translation process. You have to really get more the meaning and the sense of what you're trying to talk about. And it isn't like even any language is a living language, so you can't do like word for word translation. It doesn't make sense to like culturally it doesn't make sense, and information wise it doesn't make sense. That's my experience in translation. I work in 2 languages, and I've studied a little bit of sign language. And it's the same thing in sign language. Like if you use that as an example, if you take American Sign Language and sign to real English, like when speaking in sign, you don't need like that to add all these little words that we have when we're communicating. It's a visual language. So they don't need any of that to communicate. And so if you put all their real words in, it's a dead language. That's just an example, but my opinion, would say that you need to have someone like what your friend did, Andrea, the one who wrote it to make sense in the language so it communicates the information you wanted to share, not like a disjointed kind of word-for-word translation.
Yeah, and also keep in mind, you guys know this being in this world, but there are, articles written for 2 different reasons. You've got the reader, somebody that comes onto the page, you want to gear that information more for the reader, and then you have an article that's written really more for the search engines, and that's where you see, even fun content and stuff like that. I think for the most part right now, I mean, it'd be great if we have a mixture of both, but I think the main thing is just getting content up on the site. We can always, when things progress, we can always get a little bit more in depth and hire somebody who is proficient in the area of speaking Spanish and also knows maybe a little something about plumbing subjects. So the main thing here is just to really get moving in that direction and get some good content up and running. And I wouldn't worry so much about literal translations and things like that. I mean, you're attracting the average person anyway. So I mean, I think that if it's written in a style that is easily communicated within that community, then I think that that's a good thing. Does that make sense? It doesn't. What I'm saying is, in terms of being grammatically correct and things like that, I wouldn't necessarily worry about that right from the start. We really just need to get content up there and running. Any other feedback on that?
Only the SEO aspect, as long as the main focus keywords are not changed. But yeah, I agree 100% with Rebecca that just go with the feel, and they can write it however they want, and just leave it as long as the main focus of the keywords are in place. We're good. So
Right on. Okay, cool. So yeah, again, thanks guys for getting that in and being a part of that. And I'm glad I see that Eric's on here too. So just real quick, Sean, could you kind of give, and Eric as well, could you guys kind of give just an overview of what your vision is for building out the SEO side of things, like in terms of is it going to be category driven? Just kind of that's. I just want everybody to be on the same page and just kind of hear what the vision is, if you even have that yet.
I'm pretty much in agreement with Eric, the way we were talking about structuring it, where you have the main site and then you break it down geographically more than anything else, and then you have the subcategories or niches of specifics within those geographic areas. because the Search Shaker software that he wants to use, and I agree 100% that we should use, is going to make this fast and scalable. So, I foresee, like we were talking about, you have the main core site, then a state, then a city, and then under those, cities, you can have the, guy that specializes in water heaters, guy that's the emergency 24-hour guy, or whatever from there. It's just a simple structure. And then, of course, zip code would be the other part. Those are the only elements I see.
Okay. Good. And that could help, too, in terms of writing content, too, that, you implement some of that stuff. And we will put out a list of, cities that we're going to, start targeting immediately. And I'm gonna start that list within the next day or two. So keep up with the Facebook group, and I'm going to try to upload it to Bittrex as well. I've got to go in and play around with the Bittrex system as well, just to see how easy it is to implement. From what Catherine has shown, it is pretty easy, and she will get on here and explain that hopefully here in the next few minutes.
So. Could I add one more thing? I've been thinking about it a lot.
Yep.
And here's an idea that has not been mentioned yet. I mean, some people may be against it, some people may be for it, but it's kind of basically following the business model of what Home Advisor did, where we could scrape, say, the yellow pages or directories and pull a scrape on people that say, habla español, that focus that they do that. And then we could build out our infrastructure fast, that we could actually have pages in lots of cities, even if we don't focus yet with a video and stuff yet. And those would only really be small, diminished text entries, that kind of like a directory, where they would be that. And then, of course, the focused person would be up top with the large, video and banners and all that. So, I mean, the business model works, so I just wanted to throw that out there because, they're a multi-million-dollar company, Home Advisor. They're in like 20-something million or something or more. I don't know what they're at now.
I totally agree. I think that's a great idea.
Very cool. What kind of system would you use for scraping it? Something like Scrapebox?
No. There's actually I got a data product from this guy, and it's one of, I can't think of it, something, it's one of those IO domains, and you can set scraping factors, and you point to what you want, and set variables on, like, scrape the ones off this site with this and this structure. So this will actually pull it into a CSV that we could slap right into this thing.
I want that software.
Okay. I've got a couple of them.
Ditto.
Yeah.
Everybody wants that software.
Okay.
I like the aspect of going in and being able to set a domain and scrape that domain. That's amazing. Yeah.
Well, there was an early Google app that had an idea for stuff like that was like connected to Freebase and stuff, but it was more programmingly complicated.
Yes.
This uses more of a, you figure out, as long as the fields, it's all field driven, and every yellow pages and stuff is field driven. So you restrict it to the ones it finds with that. So I'm interested in just trying to find the restriction, just restrict it to just the habla español thing. But we can scrape. You can scrape, and definitely for whatever other projects, I'll point you out in that direction. I have to look it up again on my list. There's actually two. I know one of them's black box, something I have. So I have a couple that do different type of scraping stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I totally agree. I think that's a great idea. That may be something.
Because I think we're overthinking this, to be honest. I think we're really holding this with kid gloves, like we're going to break something and eggshelling it. I mean, we can't go wrong with this.
Yeah.
I agree. Let's break the eggshells. Let's get on with it. Let's make some omelets.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm getting feedback loop. So the way would work out, we could scale out so fast. I mean, even don't worry about the one in Alabama that we're not focusing on. It just has a list of 5 guys that are in Spanish, but we'll have a page, and it'll be out there. And then when we get to it, we get to it.
I love it.
So are we setting it up as a kind of a partial directory at the same time?
Yes.
Yes.
Can I jump in there for a second, Andy?
Absolutely, please.
If you see, I've got a screen share up there. I threw some notes together, but Catherine was saying she wanted to keep some of this stuff just to the group.
Yeah, let me let you present. Hold on 1 second.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
All right. What I've got up there is basically kind of an idea for siloing. And if you see here, you know, you've got your plumbers and then state, city, zip code, and that would be kind of, this would be the first category, and then this would be working your way down the silo, with each state being a category that's a subcategory there. And then secondary, and where all our articles can go now, where we can start drawing traffic, we have a knowledge section, and then I kind of did, you know, water heater, tankless water heater were two of the biggest terms as far as number of searches.
Yep.
And then repair and emergency plumbing with all these subcategories. Drain cleaning, to me, unless somebody else can tell me, I didn't think it really fit into that as much. And then installation and replacement for all the other things. And this, by doing this way, hang on a second, I'm trying to watch this and scroll at the same time. And then boilers. By doing this way, it really covered everything in the keyword research that was in like the top 90% of all the searches.
Awesome.
And by doing this, we could actually create articles now in this section. And then as we get the scraping part done and get the directory part done, obviously they could buy banners on those pages, and then we'd have the listings in here on this side and could start charging and monetizing. But by doing this now, this would allow us to actually start putting those articles up and driving traffic.
How are you structuring? That's a great idea. I love the way it's laid out. But how are you structuring the silo or the structure for the state? The zip codes, I don't see the zip codes being important, but I might be wrong.
I don't either. I think if maybe when you get into like Los Angeles and it might get to the point where it's just too much, or you get into Houston or Dallas, it might be an issue.
Yeah.
Right. I think, you know, from what I've done, I used to have a mentor that did a lot with zip codes. Like, he would always make videos and always include the zip code in the video. And naturally, those videos all ranked #1. Every single one of them would rank #1. The problem is, you know, do people really do that? But his argument never was the fact of the zip code, you know, people actually looking for it. His push was always that, you know, you keep on watching Google of what they're doing, and on the mobile devices, right, it's going to be automatic. So.
Right.
But I'm saying, as long as we put the zip codes in the content related to all the cities, you know, like if we were doing, you know, whatever city and wherever, also serving the zip codes of blah, 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 in those pieces of content, you know, maybe that would work out instead of having another subcategory. Or
right. No, I wouldn't want to do it as a subcategory. My only thought is, like, when you get into a big city, you might want to have, you know, separate posts for each zip code. That's all.
Yeah, but, you know, big city, you get into, like, I did some work for a guy in Dallas in my niche, and you know, Dallas Fort Worth to be exact, and oh my God, it was crazy how many. Forget about zip codes, just the cities and townships and surrounding areas was enormous, and then within those there were tons of zip codes too.
Yeah, there's like, most major cities have between 50 and 100 zip codes.
Wow. Yeah. So help me here. So if we were doing, let me just look at one you have here. Let's say we're doing clog removal. Okay, clog removal. How would you foresee, if I'm looking at the URL of clog removal content for let's just say Dallas, Texas?
That would be different because, and I've got to learn the structure of that theme we're using, because it's got its own little thing going with that.
Right.
And I haven't spent the time on that yet. Honestly, that would be Plumber Spanish, Texas, Dallas, and then you'd have, you know, the page would be named whatever you want it to be named. Yeah.
Gotcha. So you have like plumber or plumber repair or whatever it would be your front end. Then you would have the state, the city, you know, / city, and then the long tail keyword, whatever we're optimizing for.
Right, and I see that as working, and maybe Sean can kick in there, but my concern with that is that most plumbers are going to say, well, I do all of this, so...
Well, they do. Like I happen to have a HVAC customer that does plumbing, and I was just looking at your list, and now again, I'm up in Virginia, so some of the things I have would be different than what people in Texas need. You know, I don't know, and I'm not a plumber, so I don't know this, but a boiler. I think a boiler, isn't a boiler like a northern thing?
Yes, it's in all the big buildings in the cities.
Oh, yeah. So, like my guy, intentionally, I built out their entire site, and I did exactly what you did here, and I put a whole bunch of this leak detection stuff, and they told me to take all that crap off of there because it's a pain in the butt. So I had to go and remove it all, even though they were getting leads. They just don't want to do it, type of thing. Yeah, but what you have here is very similar to the things that I had. I was just curious how and that's what Andy was talking about. This silo, the structure of how we're setting this up, we just need to clearly understand that. And if we could take the concept you have here, kind of like we had on our call, I think you were on that call. Let's make a little mind map of that. Just pick a city and just like Dallas. Let's just use Dallas, Texas, just for a thing, and then make up a keyword and just illustrate how that structure would be. But what you described to me makes absolute sense. But it's important that the two of you, Sean and Eric specifically, are in agreement that that's how it should be. And then, when the rest of us do content, we then have a good understanding of what it is, the format that's being used, so we can help write the content a little bit more to your advantage.
I have a question about the content now. And if you're making all these little silos, say for example, I'm writing an article and Andrea's writing an article. Now you're going to have like Dallas plumbers, and you're going to have San Diego plumbers, and she wrote about tankless water heaters. So you're going to have something like tankless water heaters in San Diego and tankless water heaters in Dallas, or is it like one that somehow clicks off to them, or how does that work?
The articles, what I'm looking at here when I set this up was that the directory is separate from the articles. The articles are in the knowledge section, and that's to bring traffic to the website.
Okay.
And then if somebody wants to buy a banner on that page, then by all means they get to buy a banner on that page. But then there'll be a link on the page saying look for people in your area, and that'll link into the directory part of it, which is a separate silo.
Okay. So you were asking about drain cleaning. I said drain cleaning because I have a plumber in the sort of the Boston area, and he has a whole bunch of. He's like a company that's bought up a whole bunch of other plumbing companies and other home services, but he started from plumbing, and drain cleaning is like a major focus there.
Gotcha.
Like even a big PPC budget there.
See, and honestly, when they make their listing, they can make their listing that either has their name and their geographic in it, or they can make the listing that has their name and their specialty in it.
Yeah.
But that's kind of going to be their choice, and that'll become part of their URL is how they want their listing done. And that's kind of how I saw that. I don't know if anybody else sees that differently, but that's kind of how I was thinking of it.
I agree. That it is going to be driven a lot by their content and what they're putting on their listing.
And I'm thinking even just titling their listing. When you drill down, you're going to have professional plumber. We'll have the site is plumber Spanish / Texas / Dallas, and then I'm a plumber and I put my listing in there. I may want to put my name and like my suburb of Dallas or whatever. I may want to put my name and drain cleaning if that's my specialty.
Yeah.
As the title for my page.
And they should be able to just go in, even in the listing, and be able to select their, like, however we set things up as categories, right?
Right. The directory plugin has tags in it that you set up, and then they have to pick the tags they want to go after.
Exactly.
I've got to check and see how that folds into the structure. I haven't got a good feel for that yet.
Okay. All right.
And in regards to, I don't fully understand zip codes because we don't really operate like that here. But one of the plumbers, a couple of plumbers that I worked with, they use zip codes because it's kind of like, well, we covered these zip codes all around this area, but not this one or this one. So that if people call them, they first would primarily say, well, what zip code are you calling from?
Yeah, that's how it's done in a lot of areas in the metro area, is by zip code. So mainly in more metropolitan areas, you'll hear people do that. It's just another way that we do it here in the U.S.
Okay.
Yeah, but a lot of service companies, though, being that I own a service company, a lot of us do a radius, because it's really, at the end of the day, it's your vehicle, your service vehicle, and the traffic out, that your profitability. So they'll do like 10 miles, 30 miles, 60 miles, away from their service hub, wherever their vehicles are parked. And some people just do zip codes. Usually zip codes is more if you're talking to the marketing or sales part of the office. But if you're talking to the service end of the office, it's typically just mileage. That's what they're looking at. But the point I had with the zip codes was, should we include it or not? And I do believe we should include it. I just didn't know if it should be, as I saw with the visual that Eric had, if it should be a like a whatever you call that, a subcategory, or is it just being included?
Yeah, I built a site before, and we just took all the zip codes and put it on a widget on the page.
Yeah, or per city, if like Dallas, if Dallas, that's a big city, but if it was Dallas, then all the zip codes relating to Dallas.
And we are talking two separate silos here, right? One for the directory and one for, what I like to call the blog, right?
Yes.
Yes.
So, we can include the zip code definitely in the directory one, I would think, but maybe not in the blog.
No, I don't think in the blog at all.
Yeah.
Who's talking?
So I don't know if that helps or clears it up, but I think that initially as we're building out, of course, according to what I've seen from you guys, I think it is a great approach. I love the idea, and I definitely love the scraping idea. I think that's awesome. I didn't even think about that, but great ideas.
Yeah, I did a
idea. Once we have them, then we could, the salespeople, like we can just pick up the phone and phone all the people we scraped then and ask them what they want to do with that listing.
Yeah, I did a search, all in title, when Lem and Bill first started talking about this. I did an all in title of what, I can't remember the niche, but whatever the niche was with Espanol in there, just like people would put that on their website, and I was surprised how many sites did not have anything on it. I was really surprised of the small number that had Espanol in any part of the title.
Yep.
Because I truly think that is something that we should have in a lot of titles, if not all of them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I don't really understand what you mean. Like you would go like plumber Espanol?
Yeah, like for instance, yeah, like we normally do in videos, we do our title tag, our title tag. The word Espanol was nowhere in the title, which, if you're targeting that market, I would just think that web people would have it in the website title somewhere. And there were some, but the number was it was a very small percentage of sites had it.
I see
the niche I was looking at.
I see a lot of Hispanic stuff with searches. Have you noticed that? I haven't seen Espanol, but I've seen Hispanic.
Yeah, but that's an American that's an American doing that. We're not we're not targeting that market though.
It's not translated Hispanic. It's translated like Hispana or something like that. I've seen quite a few listings like that. Search traffic.
Yeah, I'll make a quick video of what I'm talking about. But what I'm saying is, in our title tags,
Yeah.
we may want, or maybe there's a reason why people aren't doing it. I just have a feeling. I don't think people caught on to it yet. I think it's one of those lost things that it was so obvious that no one's really doing it.
Yep. Great points, guys. Hey, and I'm telling you, I mean, I really do appreciate Sean and Eric getting in there and having that discussion and laying that stuff out and taking the time to do that. That's huge. So thank you guys for doing it. And on the other side, getting the content, written and stuff. That's another huge part of it. So props to you guys. And this will be ongoing discussion. And I think that we're setting the foundation here. So this is great. I do real quick want to bring Kate into the discussion because a lot of what we're doing here, what we're talking about, we do need a central place that we can go in and store information and have communication and keep each other accountable to things, and that's what she's done with the Bitrix system, this contact management software. Kate, have you got the ability to show a screenshot like you did yesterday and kind of walk people through that?
I do.
Cool. I'm going to make you the presenter here. And
okay. And I will share my screen. Let's see. Let me know if you guys can see the Bitrix screen there.
We can.
Okay, great. Awesome. All right, so Eric, you're in the hot seat, just so you know. So this is Eric's task. He and Sean actually are working on it together, and it has to do with the site structure for SEO. So the way to get to this is simply to click on the task button in the left-hand side, and I'll actually do that, and you can look at things that you're assisting on, tasks that you actually set up, and any of you can set up tasks that you want to. Then I'm simply going to click on the task, and I'm going to edit the task. And then once I'm in here, there's a lot that can happen. We can change the deadline. It brings the calendar up. We can set reminders. We can add checklists. We can upload documents. We can use Google Docs. So there's a lot of different stuff that can happen within that task. So actually Eric or Sean or whoever's going to do it can actually upload the mind map, either the PDF or the actual mind map file, and people can have access to that if that's something that the group feels that they need or that they want. Another thing that we have access to, and again it's in the left sidebar, is My Drive, and I will be setting up some different folders in there. You can actually, I'll create a folder that Andrea and sorry, hold on a second here, and Rebecca can both put the files in that the articles that they've created. Both, probably I'll have a separate English and Spanish file, just for the ease of making sure we grab the right article. So, and then the other option that we have is we have the option to share that folder with whoever we choose. We can make it open to everyone in the group, or if it's something that really only 3 people are working on, and those 2 or 3 people need access, and maybe the person that's going to be adding them to the website and making sure that they're SEO'd properly, then they can have access to those files, and we can designate who has that. So we can add photos, which the system sort of adds some very bizarre little photos there, but we can add the photos for the plumbing site, right here, and have access to them for articles or for the home page or, contact page or whatever we decide that we need it for. And then this green button top left is an awesome little button. You can invite users, you can create tasks, you can create a calendar, you can have a conversation with someone, you can create separate groups, upload files, and upload photos from that green create button. And then if there's something that you're kind of stuck on and you're not sure what to do, just come over here to the question mark, to the help button, and it immediately brings up some fantastic little videos that are super short. Many of them are like 2 minutes long, and it shows you exactly how to access documents and files, or how to have a group chat or integrate Twitter if you want to, get started, task management, calendars, the whole 9 yards. So it's all right there in very, very easy format.
Excellent.
Hey, Kate, in our group, while you're in there, do we have everybody logged into that? Is everyone accepted the invitation?
I think everyone is here. Hang on just a second. We've got Sean, Andrea, Eric, Rebecca, Mike, Byron, BJ, Andy, and myself. Am I missing anyone?
Kevin?
Kevin.
Actually, I haven't heard much from Kevin at all lately. I don't know if he's still going to be in this group.
Yeah, I thought Andy said yesterday maybe he wasn't.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, I haven't heard from Kevin. Okay, so yeah, that's everyone. That's good. That's really good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Take a message on the conference call. Thank you.
Awesome. And guys, I don't know if we have designated somebody here that can actually that has maybe a stock photography account, but we probably do need to go ahead and start stockpiling some images back there for the plumbing niche. Does anybody have I used to, and I got rid of mine. Does anybody have a program that has stock photography?
Do we really want to use the stock photography? It's not like.
What's that now?
Do we really want to use stock photography?
What would be the what are you saying as an alternative for that? Just
Well, I don't know. Maybe we could go and just take our own pictures, because my understanding for SEO, more and more, it's better to not, like, stock photography is not necessarily the best way to go.
Huh. Has anybody else had issue with stock photography? I mean, I haven't done. I'll be honest, I have not worked on a website in over a year, so I didn't see any issue with it a year ago, but I don't know. Has anybody had any problem with stock photography?
I haven't had a problem per se for cosmetic purposes, but what Rebecca is saying, I have heard. I've heard that you don't want to use images that are anywhere else on the net. So the best thing to do with stock photography is to change it and make it your own. That's the best thing to do. I would just say temporarily, if we could just get images that are royalty free, you know, that are licensed to be used instead of just stolen. Only put legal stuff on the site, and I have a RF123 account, so I know I have plenty of photos. I can grab a bunch of plumber-related ones, but any others are welcome. I just say we'll delete the images that Kate had shown us on her screenshot that she showed us. We'll delete those, and let's just get about 20 of them to start with that are related to the plumbing niche.
And one way around that is we like you said, we can change the picture. We can group pictures together. I think that's one way to get around it.
The easiest way to get around it, and this is what I recommend to do, and this is what I've read on SEO forums, is if we use the images, especially on the content pages that we're going to be using for lead gen, I recommend we put our call tracking number right on the image itself and save it as a new image.
Yeah.
That way the image, if we get the image ranking, it'll also be drive a phone call.
Yeah.
I'd put a logo on there as a watermark as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Both great ideas.
Okay.
Yeah. So as long as we change it a little bit, and it'll be a totally different image.
Yep.
So to answer that, I would be willing to do that, and if anyone wants to join me in that effort, I raise my hand of doing that because I do have access.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and just upload about 10 to 15 images back there. I wouldn't worry about it as you're uploading it, changing the image necessarily. I mean, if you want to, you can do that, but we could also do that on the fly.
And the other thing I know is a lot of the images on Wikipedia or government sites, we're allowed to use those.
Very
On
cool.
Wikipedia, you have to read the details, but a lot of them are like free use, like Creative Commons or whatever.
Yeah. And I've seen a lot of image results coming up in the actual Google search results lately. I don't know if that's something new that they're putting in, or if it's just something that I'm just now paying attention to.
I think you're just now paying attention to it.
Yeah, but I've noticed it a lot recently. So especially with local stuff, when I've been searching local things, I'm like, well, there's a bunch of images right up on the front page. So I don't know.
Here's why. A lot of those images are you'll notice they're associated right there below the 7 box or in the 7 box. It's the images that are related to the local business that you're seeing.
I mean, but that's not a new thing, or it is a new thing?
Well, you're probably seeing a little bit more than you used to, but because people are SEOing their images to go with their local business, if you do it right, you know, you're doing citation within the meta tags and stuff.
Well, and I agree. I mean, having a logo and a phone number on there is just another way to get that visibility and to get somebody to call that. So it's great ideas. All right, cool.
Do we have somebody working on a header and getting the tracking number set up?
Well, and that's one thing that I was about to discuss too, was the actual initials with the page, like getting the initial information going. Are you talking, when you say header, what are you thinking? Just having like a name and a logo up there?
Yeah, even like the one that's on the Facebook group, something like that. You know, just so we can put something up there so that it's not, you know, the stock footage out of the theme.
I could put that together. That won't be a big deal.
Once we get the logo done, we can start adding that onto the photos watermarked, and if we have the phone number, we can do that too.
Sure. Are we wanting it initially just to be more of a placeholder, or are you guys thinking let's go ahead and come up with a design and a logo for the site?
Probably go ahead and do it to, you know, whatever we're going to keep to use, so we don't have to do it twice.
Okay. The reason why I'm asking is because I want to get probably an artist involved in it and come up with something kind of clever.
Cool.
Okay.
That'd be good.
The earlier you unify your brand, the better, because or else you end up creating stuff and then you're going back and trying to fix things you've done.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay.
Yeah, I would. I did a little research on that, Andy. If you look at the Facebook page, you know, the image on the Facebook page, the gal that you know, I would copy that image, and then if you look at that image and then do a Google search of Hispanic color, I think I put Hispanic colors or Hispanic art, you'll see something real clear on the search, that those vibrant colors are typical of that demographic.
Okay.
So I would say if she could make something in that color range, you know, combination of colors, that'll probably work well, you know, without really you know, obviously what I have on the Facebook was stereotyping. We probably don't want to do that. That might be offensive, but the color scheme is in suit if you do a search with art of that demographic.
Yeah, and we're going to want to make it, you know, to where it actually does look good with the theme, because I've uploaded some images and some headers that just look absolutely terrible with a certain theme. So yeah, I agree. I think it needs to be kind of a cross between something a little bit loud, but if it's too loud, it'll look odd on that page.
Yeah.
So I think we really need to have the name be the main thing that's seen, and then maybe have some subtle, loud image, if that makes sense. I don't know. That's kind of an oxymoron, isn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll figure that out. And Mike, you and I can have discussion about that too, and if you even want to be included on that conversation with her.
I do. I mean, like I said, that's the one picking point I will have. Will be the way the site looks. Just because if I'm going to be part of selling it, it's gotta look good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
We'll talk about getting that done this week.
Okay.
Perfect. So, Okay, cool. Let me see where else we're at. We're at here. What else we need to talk about? And I'm glad we got the image stuff taken care of. And let's see. We talked the 800 tracking number. I think is what Eric mentioned as well. We probably need to talk about that. Anybody that has access to a tracking system, whether it be ACT or CallFire or something like that, if you want to volunteer those services, feel free to do so. We can always go in and purchase an 800 number. That should be pretty easy and straightforward. I'm assuming we'll probably purchase that through. Well, you can purchase through CallFire, I know, but you'd have to use Twilio if you're using a program like ACT. So we just kind of need to decide what tracking software we're going to use before we do purchase that 800 number.
I have the ACT Basic program.
Okay.
I don't have the one that has everything in it with billing and everything like that. And so it's up to you. Like, we can use it, but they do purchase all their numbers through Twilio.
Yep.
Well, the 800 number is only going to be for the purpose of business owners calling us, right? So there's going to be two different sets of numbers. We're going to have the 800 number I'm assuming that's what we're talking about. The 800 number will probably be on the front end, and then we're going to use tracking numbers in the interior for every demographic, right? Like a local number?
Yeah.
Right, because you don't want an 800 number right.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of that. I guess what we'll have is we'll have a lot of interior pages that will have different numbers on it. Is that right?
Like in my area, if like where I'm at, 703 would be my area. But as soon as I drive 25 miles to Washington D.C., I'm calling 202. People in 202 don't want to talk to people in 703. I'm sure that's the case in other cities as well.
And a lot of that depends on, too, how we want to design it. Are we wanting to do it as more of a leads kind of system, or are we wanting to just kind of rent out the page where somebody can actually, put their own phone number on it?
Oh, heck no. I would not let anyone put their phone number on it.
Okay.
We should control and own that asset 100%.
Okay.
Right, and call and forward, because what happens when they become a non-payer,
I mean, we would just have to take down the number.
Or just repoint it, which would be easier to repoint it.
Yeah, I'm cool with either one. I think we need to decide what we want to do. If it's going to be a leads-driven kind of thing, or...
Yeah, I'm in the mindset of saying have a corporate branded number, 800, for the corporate identity, right? And then have tracking numbers for whatever state and cities that we need them in, and then those will be controlled, however, at that time.
Cool. And Kate says she does have the enterprise version of ACT, so volunteers that as well. So thank you guys for stepping up and doing that. Has anybody priced the Twilio phone number for the 800? I haven't done that. I've done only local numbers. I can't imagine it'd be that expensive.
It's just $2 a month.
Okay. Okay, we'll figure that out, and we'll have discussion about that this week, and designate some of that. I think this is a discussion that Mike and I are going to be having too, just as in terms of how we manage all this stuff. So we'll get that figured out this week, and we'll have a little bit more discussion on that. But yeah, I mean, $2 a month, no big deal.
Yeah, but we might want to just consider purchasing like the whatever tracking software that we're doing as a group, so that it's not like we have to, I don't know, in case something happens and you have to kind of separate people's business with this business and all that kind of stuff, and just get it done right from the beginning. I'm not sure. Like, if we want to do, even if you do the basic ACT thing, it's like a one-time payment, and then you can expand it to the enterprise afterwards, but you can have all the numbers there, because if we're going to put, like, say if you bought it through my account and you want to get rid of me, or I left or something, the number is hostage then to my account.
Yeah.
I don't know. We might want to look at that. Like, I don't know if we want to start investing any money in this.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually, because the phone numbers is a critical part of this puzzle.
Mhm.
That is a very good point. For everyone's protection, I mean, as a group and as a whole, it is kind of important, because the other part of this is, as an asset, whenever we want to unload this whole package,
Yeah.
that has got to be part of the package, right? It's a whole piece of this, and it's a strong piece of this.
Yep. Let's you and I might talk about that this week or this weekend, and we can present something to the group next week. Obviously we know there are going to be some costs involved, and we may want to just come up with a way to pool some of these costs too. I mean, it's not going to be as big of an issue once we're creating revenue, because then that that money can come off the top. So
right.
But, initially, we need to come up with a plan for how we're going to take care of some of these costs up front. So again, we'll put something together on that, and move forward. All great comments. So yeah, stuff that we definitely need to think of at the beginning. We are top of the hour, guys. I don't want to keep this thing running over an hour, because I want to be respectful of your time. I think the biggest thing is just let's make sure that we check in with the Bitrix online, and keep committed to one another through the week. And Kate, what's your idea on how often people should get into Bitrix and be accountable to that?
Sorry. Technical difficulties over here. I think if people can touch base once a day, that would be fantastic. And there are some tasks in there that are not assigned to anyone specifically. So if we have a volunteer for some of that stuff, just let me know, and I can add it in there. So I probably need to go through it with you, Andy, and Mike as well, just to make sure
Excellent.
all the bases are covered.
That sounds awesome.
Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much. And again, I'll be a little bit out of pocket over the next day or so, just because my girlfriend had a death in her family. But so if I'm not as active over the next day or so, that's why. But I will definitely stay connected and be back into things on Friday. But again, thank you guys for being a part of stuff. Yeah, this is an awesome group, and I look forward to working with each one of you. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, Kate, or Mike too, and we'll help you however we can. So.
Yes, and I ditto that too. Very appreciative for everyone, all the efforts that everyone's doing with the group, because that was our hope and our desire, that everyone would step up and contribute whatever they felt that they wanted to contribute. There's things that need to get done, and we're trying to make it so it's not a one-person project. We want to all take equal ownership in whatever way we can. So thank you all for doing that, and this would be a really, really fun experience, I think, for all of us.
Agreed. All right, guys. Well, thank you, and we will be in touch and see you on the call next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Good talking. I'll see you next time.
All right, man.